For over 45 years, the town of Princeton, British Columbia held an annual event they called it Princeton Days. Last week, after a 5-year layoff, they returned Princeton Days, but only it's one live racing day. We were there. It was great. Let's enjoy what we will always remember, the sport of Kingsville, Princeton Days.
The sun shone brightly on Princeton for the return of horse racing to the BC interior. A large, enthusiastic crowd arrived early and stayed late to celebrate a 7-race card featuring horses from Hastings, Washington State, and the interior.
John, how good is it to have it back here?
It's enormous. I just can't describe how excited the whole town is. The town of Princeton has been tremendously supportive, and their crews have been out cutting grass, fixing different fences and what have you, and they supply the water trucks, and it's just hard to describe how people can get so involved.
How difficult was it to get horses to come up here?
In fact, this was the easiest the BC Interior's had for filling races in over 5 years. I think the biggest attraction was some purses to run at, and it got the excitement going. The Americans brought up 20 horses. We've got 24 horses from the coast. We've got 8 BC Interior horses. So that's the largest field of horses we've had in over 5 years. Again, the rider situation is the best it's ever been in the longest time. There's money to run at, and that's a real attraction. So we've got enough riders. We've had a couple of cancellations, and sometimes you have to take a rider out of the grandstand that's up visiting, so we might even do that today. You never know.
Willie, how important is this?
Well, you know, any sport, the bigger the sport is, the better the farm teams are. So we've got a pretty good farm team here. It helps racing. It's a good way for people to get introduced to horse racing. A number of horse trainers on the coast got their start in the interior, as well as riders and officials. So you got a strong B team, it's helping your A team, and I think one of the reasons there's a shortage of horses, the A team was struggling for the last few years, and as you see the A team picking up, the B team is going to get some better players, and it's good for the whole industry.
Eddie, as Vice President of the Princeton Days, what kind of show was this for you, and how long did it get going?
Well, I guess we started early spring, kind of a late start for normal. Usually we start in January, try to get this going, but it was brought to our attention that we could probably get races going here. So John Bay gave me a call. I used to belong to Racing Days for 20 years or something like that. Kind of faded out there the last couple of years, and then when it dropped off, I thought it'd never happen again. But John says, well, these guys really think we got a shot at it, so he called me in just because I know so much about the track and the ins and outs of it. So we've been working ever since, just about night and day, trying to get it going.
How's the tote system work here?
The tote board is, we have a TV set up in the back of it, and they'll send the odds to the tote board. There'll be one person standing behind it, and they'll call the numbers, and they'll have 2 girls out in front, and they'll just keep changing the numbers as fast as they can. Doesn't always work out. They've got to make a lot of corrections, but they do the best they can. So it's not perfect by any means, but we do the best we can.
The starting gate system's a little different than any other racetrack I've seen. Do you have trainers, or I'll let you explain who helps the horses go into the gate here?
Trainers, owners, everybody, anywhere that's on the grounds. We try to put a crew together to help over there, but it's not always that easy, so everybody chips in. That's what I like about this place. You don't have to be a part of this organization to be a part of it.
And what day of country racing would be complete without a trip to the beer garden?
How good does it feel to have country racing back in Princeton?
I think it's essential for Princeton. You know, it's a small town, it needs the industry. It makes money for the town, gives opportunities to people who live here. It's great.
How fun is it?
Well, I've been losing today, so I'm not feeling very fond of it right now, but it's been enjoyable. Yeah, it's been great.
How's your day been going?
It's been a wonderful, wonderful day. The weather's cooperated and everything's just great.
How's the betting?
Well, off and on. My betting wasn't very good, but I'm sure some people have won some races and whatever.
How do you think this is for the town?
It's great for our economy. I'm sure it is, yes. It was a great loss when we lost it, and it's great to have it back again. I just hope this will do it, and we'll have the circuit back again in the interior. I think it'll be very good.
Richard, from your point, why is it so important?
Well, it's important in a way in a historical perspective, because bush racing in the interior of British Columbia goes back many, many years, and it was really one of the foundations for the sport. in terms of the racing itself, it creates a second fan base. And I think you can look at interior racing as the canary in the cage in the mine. When interior racing starts to die, then the next thing you want to worry about is the main mine shaft being poisoned, because if the interest starts to erode from the edges, then it eventually is going to erode from the middle. I think it's important in that respect. The other way that it's important is that it will increase your market, right? You'll create racing fans when you have racing in the interior here. People don't have access to the main track in British Columbia, but they can come out and see live racing here, and it will create some interest. It's also really important to the communities out here. As you can see from today's attendance, this is a really big event, and the good thing is that people in the interior, in the coast have supported this by shipping out horses with little chance of really making money or whatever, but they're just coming out here for the sport and to support interior racing in British Columbia. I think it's important. I think it's really a good thing.
The highlight of the racing card was the 34th running of the Similkameen Cup. This race featured a field of 6 running for the Similkameen Cup and running for a purse of $10,000.
It is Farewell Cowboys, though, drawing off now in the stretch run. Farewell Cowboys in front by 3x4. River Run is running second. They won't catch Farewell Cowboys.
The big question is Princeton Day in general. Your final thoughts on what you've seen here today with the public, the people that put it on.
I cannot believe how many people turned out for this event here. It's just mind-boggling how many people showed up for this today, and it's good to see. It's just great to see the support that they've got. They're going on to bigger things here, no question.
As the sun set on Princeton, the plans were already being made for next year.